Welcome back to Rochester Living with Mark Siwiec and Corey James Moran, brought to you by Elysian Homes by Mark Siwiec and Associates. This is episode 187. Our guest, Rochester royalty. I think that's fair to say, right?
That's so funny. Do you know that I say that about her all the time? Seriously. Do you know that I say that?
I know. I actually didn't. Great minds. Naomi Silver.
That's embarrassing.
President, CEO, COO of the Rochester Redwings. Again, one of the most beloved organizations in all of Rochester, hands down.
And one of the most beloved figures. Seriously.
100%.
I know they're going to poo-poo it, but the reality is, we
were walking in to do the podcast, and you were kind of itching a little bit because it's so beautiful out today. It's like, why is there not a game today?
Honestly, 13 days from now, I can only pray for something that looks like this out there.
Weren't you rained out last year, the opener?
Oh, 3 days in a row.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Try again. So maybe we're owed one good one now.
Right, come on.
I would think so.
Are we doing the guarantee?
Oh, yeah. 50-degree guarantee.
Yeah, Dan Mason every single year.
Yep.
We've got to talk about your guys' social media presence. It's unbelievable, by the way.
Thank you.
I want to talk definitely about the food. It's, Rochester's biggest restaurant, essentially, too.
Right.
So lots to get to.
Thank you.
So much to get to. And you got something new and innovative that's going on in terms of payments that I just found out about. And
Yes.
I am so interested in that because you're one of the, we'll get there in a few minutes.
I want to jump into a little real estate.
Okay.
And feel free to jump in as well.
Oh, wait, are you going to ask about my eye? Yeah.
I'm sorry. We forgot about that.
Yeah.
Mark, why are you deformed today? Everyone was wondering. Alex, can we get a graphic on Mark's face? Phantom of the Opera?
Or just blow up my, yeah. So all right. So I had cataract surgery last week.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Oh my God. Blum Eye Institute. They're amazing. They're absolutely incredible. I arrived at 12:30. I was home by 4:15 with perfect vision in my right eye for the first time.
Incredible.
Since I was 7 years old, 53 years ago. That's insane. But unfortunately, I've got to wear this clear plastic Phantom of the Opera kind of thing over my, and so it just creates this indentation in my face as if I've been scuba diving.
When you smile, you can't really tell.
Okay, I'll just continue smiling.
There you go.
Like
Perfect.
that? Okay. Does this look
Good
natural?
idea.
It's going to be tough for you to smile when I give you the update for.
You wear that, Mark, so when you're in bed, so you don't
Yes.
scratch it by accident or something?
Not scratch it, but push
smush
into
it?
your eye. Yeah,
Right.
because it needs like a full 7 days to settle. So I'm on day 5. So
Right. Right.
Crazy.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Monroe County, 362 last week.
Yeah.
Guess. Give me a number. Where are we at?
Well,
Higher?
you said I was hoping it was going to be higher. It's not.
346. Down. We're down. Yeah.
That's crazy, bud.
Let's put this into perspective. We'll get to the 6 county region in a second, but under contract and pending Monroe County was 696. We're at 764. A lot of stuff is newly under contract and pending.
Coming on the market, and then boom, immediately.
And then it's gone.
Yeah.
Right. There was a property in Pittsford that was listed for $300,000 that went for $6.
Well, and then there was my property.
Yeah.
I listed a ranch in Brighton for $995,000. We walked 24 buyers through over a 3-day period of time. We ended up with 6 offers. We ended up selling this $995,000 listing for $1,419,000. We had one offer that escalated to $1,585,000.
Unbelievable. Is that happening at every price point?
Well, and that's where I think we were headed. We've been saying for 5 years now, oh my God, this is the best market. There seems to be something playing out in the market right now. We could bullet at least 5 different properties, 6 different properties we've heard about in the past few days that are selling $200,000 or above asking price. Yep. It's insane.
There's an agent with the brokerage that her people bought this house in Pittsford for a little over $500 last year and just got $575 for it. In a year.
So a 15% increase in a 1 year period of time. Yeah.
That's 2021 stuff right there.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, are the people that are coming in and paying those prices relocating to Rochester, or is it within the community?
I'd say it's a mixture.
Okay.
Right? It's always kind of interesting when you have a buyer from out of the market because they don't have the basis of what the prices used to be.
Right.
And they're also comparing it to the typically higher prices in the rest of the country. So their perspective on it's a little bit different. But It's wild. I mean, here we go again. It's unlike anything we've seen even over the past 4 years, which is saying something.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is great. So my entire real estate portfolio is currently on the market for sale.
$20 billion.
Yeah, I was going to say, it can be yours for $100 million.
Six county region, we saw a slight uptick in listings. It's 557 or 577, up from 570 last week. And then pending and under contract for the six county region, we're at 1163. That's actually down from that's actually up quite a bit from 1067 last week.
There you go.
So again, a lot of things listing and then boom, immediately gone.
Yeah.
Interest rate wise, more of the same, really.
Yeah, I think we said, probably 4 weeks ago or something, it's just going to
up and down.
But I do think that there's going to be a break. Listen, increasingly, it's no longer chatter amongst economists and pundits and others that there's a possibility. Increasingly, you're hearing people talk about the fact that yes, there is a recession coming.
The likelihood increased from 23% 2 months ago to 36%.
Yep.
Just recently. Highest recession risk in 6 months per CNBC's Fed survey too.
Yeah. When that happens, I think we're going to see a real change in interest rates at that point in time.
For it to go down.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is going to be a really interesting dynamic because rates are going to go down, which creates more buying power for buyers. But we're in a recession and people are typically tighter with their money. So it's going to be a kind of interesting thing playing out.
It's going to, what is the old proverb? Pray that the gods, pray that you do not live during interesting times. Or if the gods want to punish you, you will live during interesting times. And these are certainly interesting times.
That is a way to put it.
Yeah.
So 6.78% for the 30-year right now. That's just down from 6.79 last week. 15 years, 6.24. That's actually up from 6.21. And the Fed meets today, which could have an impact on what happens. No expectation of any changes in terms of a cut or raising it right now, but they could change their outlook for the rest of the year. Because as of right now, I believe they were still projecting, 2 rate cuts this year? So it could go down to 1, could go down to 0. They might add, I don't think they will add, but they could add.
Well, I think what's going to be fascinating is people are often listening to Chairman Powell afterwards that the FOMC has met, and there's an immediacy to whether or not interest rates are the federal fund rate is going to go up or down. I think that people are going to parse more closely his remarks in today's news conference to prophesize where things are headed 3 months from now, 4 months from now, and the way that they don't traditionally. There's usually a little bit more immediacy to his comments. Today, it's going to be really
down the road.
People are going to be wondering and listening. What is he prophesizing? So,
and he's been saying patience, so they're going to kick this can down the road as far as they can.
Yeah. Well, but I think there's just so much uncertainty. I think that's what's playing out is the uncertainty, and of course he's very, very, very careful, but he's going to certainly address the uncertainty of the deportations, the uncertainty of a potential constitutional crisis, the uncertainty of the tax cut for the wealthy, and certainly this insane tariff war. Oh my God! So I don't even know where things. But it is interesting that we haven't heard much about it over the course of the past week or so.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether or not the president has decided that he better just lay off a little bit because it's proven to be so enormously unpopular.
Well, and it's turbulent.
Turbulent. That's
Absolutely
a good word.
turbulent.
That's a polite word.
Let's turn back to Naomi. Thank you again for joining us.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
You must be very excited.
Thanks for asking.
The season is on the way.
It's the best time of year. It really is. It's exciting. Our plans are well underway, and it's busy. And our ticket buyers are coming to the office, and it's wonderful for us.
So this time of year, you must be like the most refreshed, right? Because you've had the chance to go through the off season,
right?
And now geared up in the beginning and ready to roll,
right? And we haven't lost a game yet.
There we.
Right?
Undefeated.
We are, hope springs eternal. So, the springtime is, you can still imagine what it would be like to win a championship. And it's just very exciting. And with that in mind, I think we'll have a decent team this year. The Nationals have brought through the organization, some really wonderfully talented young guys. So it's really exciting.
So is there a particular player that you're excited about having join this year?
We don't know exactly who will be on our roster yet because they're still formulating who will be with the big league club and who will get sent down to AAA. But, Darren Baker, Dusty Baker's son, has been with us for a couple of years and may play a part of this season with us. And, he's just a fun, kind of effervescent guy like his dad, just one of the sweetest in the game. And Dusty comes in to watch him play, which is really very fun for us and for our fans. So it's great. It's great fun.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I've always wondered the perception of Rochester through the players that are new to the area and they're experiencing it for the first time, what their takeaways are, and the area as a whole, and then specifically the response you get from the community to come to the games and support the team.
Our players are always rather surprised when they get here to see that our fans are really kind of a little bit more knowledgeable than in most places in the country. Of course, we have a history here that's so long, and people really know their baseball, and they know their history, and they know players who have been around for a long time, and many of our players that have gone to the big leagues. But as a community, I think they enjoy being in Rochester. They love the fact that we draw very well here. Our facilities are very good. The field is, in good shape. And that not only includes our players, but the ones that visit Rochester. Sure, we play 75 home games, and for those 75 dates, we've got guys coming in from the other cities in our league, and their families come in as well. And it is exciting for them. And over the last 2 years, we have renovated our players' facilities, and they really rival any big league team. So the guys come in and are just blown away with how great the facilities are. And this year we're opening a new building that passerbys may have noticed in our VIP lot, which is a player performance center. It's where we have 2 hitting cages where pitchers also can throw. Their workout room is really grand, and just, great facilities for them. These guys are trying to get to the big leagues,
course,
so
yeah.
every advantage that they can get at this level to get the most out of themselves is a plus.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic.
You mentioned the history
Oh, that's where
of the
going.
team.
Yeah,
Mark, go ahead,
yeah.
take it away.
No. Go right ahead, bud. You're right in the same place.
Give us the lesson here, the history of the Red Wings, and specifically what happened in 1957.
But then there's a corollary to all that, which I think is there is history, but it's also generational. There's your dad, there's you, your kids.
Right.
So
I was thinking to last week's
Fortunately.
guest, Amy McNamara.
oh yeah,
of Heard
Amy
Orchard,
McNamara from
same
Heard
deal.
Orchard, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, same thing, multi-generational. So you can approach this in any number of ways. I mean, where do you want to start?
Baseball in Rochester has existed since, I think, the year is 1877. So there's always been baseball here. There are
look that old.
I don't look that old. Not everybody says that, Mark, so thank you very much. There are accounts of Frederick Douglass and Susan B. Anthony watching baseball. Really? It predates the Red Wings, per se, in name, but it was baseball, and they've played at different fields, and and then the Norton Street Stadium, which became Silver Stadium, was built in 29, and we played there for 70 years. During that time, we were owned by the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals were not having financial success in Rochester, and they had other AAA teams in those days. They were going to shut down the operation in Rochester. And my father, who was a businessman in the community, who, the city fathers kind of knew as maybe a creative guy, went to my dad and asked him, if he could devise a plan to try and save the team. And he did. He did a stock offering, raised almost enough money to buy the stadium and the team from the Cardinals. The rest he put in himself, and we became a community-owned team. So that was in 1957, just shortly before my time. But of course, the history is there. In 72 days, they call it the 72-day miracle. We saved the team he saved the team and this community from the team leaving. And
So I'm sorry, it took only 72 days
to raise
your
a
father
$500,000 in those days was quite.
And what year was this?
1957. It was quite a feat.
But I listen. I don't know much about your dad. I only know that he was a beloved figure and that he saved it. But he must have been a beloved figure prior to the Red Wings, because you don't simply go to a community and say, "I need $500,000." He must have been a very, very beloved man.
He. Thank you, Mark. He was well thought of, respected, self-made guy in business who worked as hard as you could. The ball club subsequently, he ran the ball club for a couple of years during that time, and then retired back to his own business. And the ball club went broke a couple of times. He came back in and revived it. So he just was just a hardworking person who understood business and understood the intricacies of this particular business, self-taught, obviously. He did the same for the Rochester Americans. A couple of years later, he was.
Did you know that?
I did not know that. Now
He and a couple of others, and yeah. So he was just, he felt, and I carried this till today, that what is a community like the size of Rochester without things like that? You have to have family things to do. You have to have sports. You have to
makes
have
it
art,
special. Yeah.
arts,
Yeah.
music. They're so important. If not, it's certainly, those things are what make an experience in life wonderful.
I mean, if you go back, I mean, George Eastman was doing. I mean, we benefit from the legacy of George Eastman, whether it's the
Absolutely.
RPO, the Eastman School of Music. I mean, all these institutions. And your father, in a similar manner, was doing the exact same thing, because we have a better life here in Rochester as a result of the thinking of and the foresight of individuals like your dad, like George Eastman. That's really amazing, Naomi.
I agree.
Wow.
They were forward thinking, and we have people that can care and think about the community the same way today. Thank goodness for philanthropy of the Galisanos and the
Dixon
Saunders and the Dixon Schwabels.
Yeah.
Of course, it's just you can't have a city like ours that prospers and flourishes without people who are really kind of selfless in what they do. So it's very exciting. My dad passed away when I was just a young teenager, and my mother was very loyal to his dream to keep the ball club alive and afloat, and she dedicated herself to it. And and I never saw it as a career, but it developed into one because I felt the same.
You started in the back office, I think, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I still work in the back office.
but your role has certainly been elevated.
Yes. I started with I started like an intern would start in the office, with no expectations that it was going to turn into something. But as business goes and, opportunities happen, and I got involved in different areas of the business, and there was some comfort, I think, for people involved at the time, that there was a Silver who was willing to work it day to day, and that gave people kind of the comfort to know that maybe baseball could last another generation.
Well, I can only imagine, the CEOs of these major companies, there's always legacy, right, that you want to live up to. But when it's your family, it's an extra layer
Right.
of we're going to make this work no matter what.
You're right. It's family pride and wanting to honor the name and all of the rest of it and their wishes and so on. So, yeah.
Well, also taking it and turning it into your own. I mean, in terms of innovation, is there a better organization in Rochester than the Red Wings? I mean, in so many different ways.
Well, I know how to hire good people, don't I?
Oh,
Yeah, I
Shout
have
out to Dan Mason.
I
Can
have
we-
the best
can we shout out Dan
general
Mason?
manager in baseball. Truly, he's remarkable and creative, and has a wonderful way of foreseeing how things will be received, and that's great. That is, that says it all. When you're trying to impress 500,000 people a year, you need to know that what you're going to do is going to fly, not fall.
Yeah, of
right?
course. Can I share a Dan Mason story really quick?
Please.
Yeah. Well, let me just make one comment, then I want to hear what you have to say about Dan Mason. Customer service is so important. Everybody pays lip service too, but every time I go to a game, I feel as though everybody is taking really, really good care of us. Whether it's somebody who's offering us ice cream or the people who are taking the tickets, you work the crowd like I've never seen anybody. Like you say hello to every single individual, it seems, within the stadium every single game. I mean, it is insane the level of customer service that is provided each and every time.
That is so nice of you to say. You know what? It makes our day. We're not in this business for. We couldn't be in this business if we didn't love people. That's sort of central to the whole thing.
Community.
We do love people. I love them. They become our friends, and it's just wonderful. And you're really making me hanker for an opening day right now.
We'll get there soon.
Dan Mason.
So when 98PXY did their summer jams,
Yes.
unbelievable always, by the way, to be there. The sun is setting, a concert's happening literally in center
So
field.
much fun.
Such a fun event. But I very vividly remember one of the years when I was there and we got poured on, just absolutely dumped on. And I remember seeing, after the rain finally gave way, Dan Mason out there with a squeegee on the tarp, pushing water off of the tarp so that people wouldn't slip and could go back to the concert. Like, he's one of the top guys in the organization, and
does
he's
it all.
doing that. Like, that spoke so much to me about not only his character but just the organization overall.
That's Danny taking carts from the parking lot of one of the stores and bringing them into the store. It's the exact same thing. It's just that level of commitment to the client and customer service. It's insane. It's
incredible. And I'll tell you a similar but different story. During a game, a player broke his bat, and the barrel end of the bat ended up stuck in the backstop screen, the netting.
Oh.
Very high up.
Yep.
And Dan went and got a ladder, climbed the ladder, and got it out of the screen in front of the whole crowd.
They loved it.
Everyone
Hammed it up,
loved it.
I'm
It
sure.
was the best part of the game. But that is Dan, you know it.
Wow.
You only have to go out there to know it.
Naomi, can we go back to history a little bit? Because I'd love to know a little bit more about you, sort of how you work your way through, and then maybe we could talk about your son Maury and Des.
Yeah. How I worked my way through when I first started there, I worked on shareholder matters and trying to update records and so on, which till this day we still do in house. Our accounting department had kind of fallen off, so I came in and took that over. And our team store needed some help. I went in and took that over. And then I think the biggest, probably at least at that time, the biggest thing I kind of spearheaded, I guess, was the takeover of our concessions business. Our food service has been run by our own company since the early 90s, and that is a place where you can really make an impact. I was tired of people saying the hot dog was cold and me not being able to do anything about it.
Wow.
And that means everything. It is so central to the experience and coming to the game.
right.
Well, I said it, Rochester's biggest restaurant. Like, that's the reputation now.
Right. We're serving a lot of people there. So that is, you can think on your feet. You can act quickly when people bring something to your attention, and it is a profitable business for us. So it has allowed us to grow our business in a way that is meaningful.
Well,
So-
it ties into the experience, right? You talk about it. The on-field,
Yes.
obviously, is the biggest draw, the actual players themselves. But what happens in between the innings, what's going on with the concessions? I mean, all of it comes together to bring people through the door.
Right.
And with the concessions, I'm just the creativity.
It's fun,
it blows me
isn't it?
away.
Yeah.
Again, when I was on the radio, Dan would come in if you had if on the weekends the team was home, and he
Yes.
would bring in all these crazy different things that they were going to be selling. The garbage can, one of my
Yes.
personal favorites. So garbage plate, and they bought these little plastic garbage cans.
Oh, that's great.
And they put the garbage plate in it, and you
Yeah.
can just eat it with a spoon. I mean,
It was a traveling garbage plate,
Yep.
really. So
Yeah.
you could
the walking tacos. I mean,
you're right, fun things. Footlongs, Waggles, hot dogs this year.
There we go. All right.
Wow.
Nice.
Julie's
That'll
got to be
be
thrilled.
fun.
Yeah.
It's just, it is fun. You know, you hear from people about what they want, and you can actually do something, and it's great fun. But it becomes something that people look forward to. Not everybody who's going to come to a game, even within a family, is going to be enthralled with what happens on the field. So it's an entertainment experience, and it is, you know, going to a movie is great, but you don't experience the people around you.
This is communal. This is community.
yeah.
Yeah. And it really is. It's also a slice of Americana. It's really Cooperstown. I don't know, 18
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. All right. So.
Love it.
So you personally, you know, you're doing all this stuff, and you rise through the ranks, and you find yourself. How long did it take for you to actually become?
Yeah, that's a good question. I started to, I guess once I took over the food and beverage, it really became apparent that I was going to be in the leadership role there, and I have been since. So titles have changed, and you know, I try to hold every single title you can think of: chairman, CEO, COO. But excuse me, president. I have been chairman in the past. You know, the titles don't necessarily mean a lot, but I've been in the leadership role there for some time.
And now the kids.
So my kids fortunately love the game. They did have a choice, but they have loved being there. So my son Maury, he started there when he was 14 years old, working in the front office, just doing anything. Could not get him out of there, and today I can't get him out of there.
Wow.
He's there in the morning before the sun rises and stays till the work is done, which is quite late.
Well, he's often there until after a game is completed.
Oh, he's always there until after the game, and throughout the winter until 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
He's a hard-working guy. Dear Lord.
He's got a lot of things, and he's created a lot of new things within our organization that he works very hard at. We now have an R&D department. Just trying to get to know our fans and what they want at the most detailed level we can. What turns people on, what are they buying, what is the individual buying, just to be able to tailor things a little bit more. And he's been great at that, and just so many things.
That's great. And Des?
My daughter is working in the office right now. She's taken a gap year and will go to law school in the fall. And I think, thank you. And I think her desire is to come in-house also.
Where's she going to law school? I didn't know
Everybody
this.
needs a lawyer
Yeah,
more and more every day. So
Absolutely.
contracts and everything that we deal with, I think it'll be great for us. She's been accepted at a few places and still trying to decide.
She hasn't
We have a
decided
few
yet,
road
yeah.
trips to make to
That's great.
to figure it out.
Yeah, congratulations.
fun.
Wow.
Yeah, she thinks it's going to be great fun. She has to learn that it's going to be really hard work. Oh man, hard work.
She's, you know Desiree, right?
I do not know.
Oh, she's fun.
Okay, all right.
She's fun.
So the first thing you meet her and you're like, oh my God, this young woman is gorgeous, just spectacular. And then very quickly you realize, oh, she's not just a gorgeous woman. She is sweet and kind and loving.
That's so
and,
sweet.
And on top of all that, she's intelligent. Like, she's intelligent. Like, she's just the whole package. She's the hot. She's the well. Is she still? Is she, well, I won't ask, but she was for a long while the hottest a bachelorette in town, the most eligible bachelorette in town. I'm such a huge fan. So let's go back to innovation, because I know this is where you want to head. So you talked about your innovation in terms of bringing all the food in house, and then you just talked about Maury doing R&D. I know that you've expressed some interest in sort of the innovative nature of the business.
Yeah. I mean, social media, again, that's one of the things you guys have just taken the banner and run with. Again, the creativity coming back into play. And just so funny.
Thank you. We're so lucky. You know, we have talented people, and you know, Dan and his videos. I'm sure you have that in mind.
Oh yeah.
He's so creative. But
And he
he's
doesn't
such
say
a-
no, right? And he
he's-
doesn't say no.
Oh no! The more self-deprecating it can be, the more he likes it. He's just amazing, and you know, I learned long ago that maybe I wouldn't lose him to another ball club, but now I think Hollywood is going to come knocking. He is
very good.
He is so good.
Some of the
isn't he?
Office parodies. I
Oh,
mean,
my
have you seen
God.
those, Mark?
No.
So great.
Yeah, really, really good.
Just love him.
So
Very creative.
The social media is off the charts, and then the creativity of I feel like every other game is a different theme or a different special day. You know,
Yeah.
cooking all those. Your brainstorm sessions must be wild.
They're really a lot of fun. Creativity is the name of the game, and frankly, we can get ideas from other ball clubs, because you know that is one of the nice things in sports. You're generally not competing with another baseball team because they're quite a few miles
Different
away.
market, yeah.
Right, different market. So we do share everything. We share our ideas. We see what the successes are. We have those kind of relationships with other ball clubs, so that's wonderful.
Is there one idea that you thought there's zero chance this is going to work, and it actually exploded and was incredible?
I got one, but I want to hear yours, of course.
Oh
but I
my
got one
gosh,
that
that is so great. You know, I don't know if I have an answer to that. I would never have imagined that that our garbage plates would have been what they became. You know, it's just hard to imagine. You think of it as a food item.
Sure.
That's great. Everybody in Rochester likes them. That's great. But the jerseys and the hats and the people all over the country wanting
Yep.
something just arrived.
Did it start as like, this would be cute to do on a
This would be
Thursday, and then
so
it just
fun.
Yeah, and then
This
explodes.
would be so much fun. And I think the idea that people were buying a hat with the garbage plate moniker on it, and our store staff would put it on a plate, wrap it in foil, put it in a box, and mail it out. So
So
just
great.
so fun.
That's
you
great.
know?
That's really great.
Just a great deal.
What about your LGBT nights?
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
like that.
so-
That comes to mind, like in terms of, to Corey's question, was there something that was proposed that could have gone either way? And there was some, and I emphasize the word some, not a lot, but there was some pushback from members of the community, which was just your organization's response was brilliant. So
I know you've always said that, and I appreciate that very much. You know, it was something, we decided to have an LGBTQ night, and we just made the decision to go with it, recognizing that there would be some people that didn't appreciate it. But, you know, we play 75 games a year. If it was really against what you believed in, you could stay home that night and think nothing of it. But honestly, it was one of the most fulfilling events ever, because I think people appreciated it. The people who came out, both from the community and our regular everyday fans, etc., just felt like, wow, this is the right thing to do, and had so much fun.
Yeah.
Just had so much fun. Because, you know, we all have to recognize that not every place is welcoming, And I think making that community feel welcome was just, it just made me feel incredibly good.
And you should. I mean, just remember, you probably aren't aware, but there was pushback on members of the community. And again, there's social media. I don't even remember what it was, but it was basically like, you don't like this? Then
Don't show up, yeah.
Don't show up. Like, it's as simple as that.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
But it was also done very directly and humorously, and it was a master class. David Ogilvy would have been very, very, very proud of the way that your team had handled it. So just remarkable. Can we talk about one more? I just found out about it this morning. So you are moving to a cashless system?
We are. You know, in our industry, it's become very common to only accept credit cards, and that is the way we're going to go. So for those few people, and I think it's relatively a small number based upon the fact that we've always taken credit cards, so and our cash sales have been such a small part of our sales. For those who it really is impossible for, we will have you know, a digital option. People can come to the ticket office, and we will take cash and give you a digital coupon to use. But I think, you know, in today's world, for security issues, for reasons, and for the cost of taking cash in, it just felt like it was the right time to do this. So, you know, I think, you know, I think in a month in, it will not be
It's changed,
talked
right?
about
Yeah, exactly.
anymore,
Yeah.
but it's a change, right? So,
No pun intended?
There was none in that one, but
There we go.
I'm that good. at
You
puns.
are, no, you're very good.
slide them in there.
I mean, seriously, really, that is very. I don't know about you, but I haven't carried cash in 10 or 15 years. So I love that, and it really is the direction that our economy is headed
100%,
increasingly. Yeah,
Just easier, right?
Yeah,
Right. You don't want
absolutely.
parking lot attendants having to carry cash with
Right.
them. There's just so many good reasons for it. So
yeah. I mean,
Looking
and then
forward
people
to
sitting
that.
with money counters at the end of the night, like, you know, counting it. I'm like,
it's a long process.
oh my god, I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine. So
So, what's coming up this season? What can we expect? What's exciting? What's anything new?
I wish I had actual dates for you, but we'll have 3 Cocos Locos nights, which are really
There we go.
fun games, paying tribute to the Latin community, and just great fun music, fun partying, and it's wonderful. We'll have our salute to the Negro Leagues. We'll have our Women in Sports night. You know, just
that's a big. I've heard so many great things about that night.
it's a really fun night. We
Yeah.
bring in some fun guests, and
June 10th, Elysian Homes.
There we go.
that is a good night.
That's not a bad night.
Really a good night, June 10th. And I hear the weather's going to be perfect.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's what I saw too. The advanced forecast looks phenomenal.
right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and again, back to, you know, Dan and you and everybody, like, you know, we bring 300 people every year. We'll have more this year, obviously. And everybody just walks away just feeling so well taken care of.
That's
Really
so
great.
nice.
It's a great experience, and you know, if anything, we can take anything from this conversation, how intentional it is to involve the community in every way possible.
Yes.
You guys do a phenomenal job.
Got a minute?
Oh, yeah.
So, speaking of involving the community and involving the fans in the game, you may have noticed as you intently watch the games when you're there, Mark.
Mark always does. He actually brings a little sheet, and he has the
score.
stats. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually amazing. Mark, he's got an encyclopedic memory. So on June 7th of last year, how many runs were scored in the third inning?
Come on. I mean, in the third inning?
The third inning.
Oh, that was
Total for both teams.
Oh, for both teams.
Yeah.
I think there were. It was a quite a heated inning. I think there were six.
Six.
Oh, yeah, six.
See, I mean,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
I love the fact you just said that because every time I go, anyway.
Every time he goes, I'm like, Mark, you know,
There's a
there's a
game.
game right
Set
here.
down the third burger. Yeah.
Listen, we all have our priorities for why we go to the games, and that's fine.
Listen.
Sometimes food is at the top of the list.
Socializing and eating food is a big part of it. So
Yeah.
you go.
I yeah. Go ahead.
You go, Mark. we have there's a challenge system in baseball now where the batter can challenge whether or not it was a strike or not, right? And the pitcher can also challenge whether that was a ball he threw or a strike. They hit their helmet. Each team gets 2 chances to do this during the game. They hit their helmet. The umpire calls time for us really less than 5 seconds. They will replay it on the board in a digital type of way, and it'll show whether or not the umpire was right or wrong about the call.
Wow.
And I think people love that because you're, right?
It was
If you're
wrong.
watching
Yeah.
you're always thinking that the umpire's a bum. He got that
Yeah.
wrong. They're not wrong very often.
I was gonna say, can you imagine that for the poor umpires? Like, imagine in your job if you made a decision and literally 1 second later, someone was like, "Actually, let's review."
Yeah, right.
And you were definitively proven right or wrong in that moment.
Well, the major leagues are actually taking this a step further this year, and that they're going to have technology, AI, cameras everywhere, which
That's
will.
what we have. That's exactly what we have.
Oh, so correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that they weren't. It wasn't going to be a challenge by tapping your head. That the cameras were going to determine in real time whether or not it was called correctly.
Those are on the bases.
Okay.
That's not how the pitch has come
Okay,
in and
okay,
whether it
got
was
it.
a strike or a ball. They do that. Unfortunately, it's not real time. It is, if you challenge something, it takes,
got it.
it may take a minute or two. They look at it in New York. I've been in the offices in New York of Major League Baseball where they have 1,000 screens up and they watch every single play and can replay what they
wow.
see as potentially controversial
Yeah.
in a call. But it takes a minute or two to do that, whereas what we do is really within a few seconds.
That's great.
It's fun. It's very engaging. I love it. I just love it.
Can we segue into, I think, a topic that fascinates everybody, which is your role as a woman in a field that is predominantly run by men? I'm sure it's had its challenges through the years. I'm sure that it's had its triumphs through the years. Can you tell us what comes to mind?
I broke into the game easily because people knew and respected either my father or my mother. So they gave me that grace. But as new people came in and they weren't sure who I was, it was a little bit interesting. But I think in recent times, with DEI, it has become more and more, I guess, I don't know, acceptable or respected that a woman could be in this game. And,
great.
I don't make player moves or player calls. This is a business, and I run a business. And we all know that women can run businesses, so I think it's much easier. Nonetheless, I will go to an owners meeting in New York. Major League Baseball hosts a meeting for us there each summer, besides a few others. But in New York, it's just all of the minor league owners all together in one room, 120 owners. I am the only woman there.
Wow.
And when we take a break from the meeting and I go to the ladies' room, there's no line. So I find that to be probably the greatest
There's some
benefit.
perks. There's some perks.
Exactly.
That's great.
Oh, it's interesting,
Yeah,
though.
for sure. Anything else you wanted to talk?
I mean, we could sit here with Naomi
know.
for
We-
yeah.
Always,
But one of the things that's nice, we started these video podcasts, I don't know, 4 months ago or 6 months ago or something, which I think was 4, whatever the case may be. There are definitely guests that we've had that I know we're going to be so excited to just continually invite some of these guests back, and you're definitely one of those. Because
You made the
there are
list.
just-
Congrats.
That's so nice.
But there's just so much that we could talk to you about. You've got such an interesting history and so much to offer. So thank
That's
you
sweet.
very, very
Thank
much
you
for being
very
here.
much for saying so. I appreciate it.
We've got to get
much
Mark's
fun.
review. He went to a new restaurant last week.
Oh, actually, and again last night.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
it
the
must
new
have
one.
been
It's the new
good.
spot.
So Redwood. So Richard Reddington, who owns Red, and Marty from Marty's Meat. They opened Redwood on Monroe Avenue in the old Grinnells. It is a testament to him as the professional that he is that within just moments of opening, the food was spot on. It was
Wow.
delicious. The service, there wasn't a hiccup to be had. Like the service was amazing. And the place, I would venture to guess, at least from my perspective, best looking restaurant, nicest looking restaurant in all of Rochester.
Wow.
It's really, I mean, it is a lot of fun. I mean, really, it's pricey. It's definitely pricey, but
we don't have like a ton of fine dine restaurants in Rochester, so there's a spot for it.
well, thankfully we're starting to, so Josh Miles has Patron Saint.
Yep.
Now we've got Redwood, and of course Bonnie and Clyde just opened a few weeks ago. So we're starting to get a few. Thank God, because it was a drought. I mean, the Swanson's TV dinners just weren't cutting it. So
Well, it was tough. Post COVID, it was kind of tough on restaurants. So
oh yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
starting to see the resurgence.
yeah,
What did you get at Redwood? The first visit.
My question too.
So the French onion soup was just great, and the nudie. Nudie is it's like a dumpling. It's like a gnocchi, an Italian gnocchi. Both were just amazing. So yeah, I can't wait to go again.
Fantastic.
So, yeah. Can I? Do you mind if I just jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw a mini series on Netflix that we finished up 2 nights ago.
I'll say post about this. Yeah.
Oh, have you heard about
What was
adolescence?
No.
Oh my God. Each episode is 1 hour long. Each episode is filmed in a continuous, so there's no editing. It's just a continuous loop. Not a loop. It's just continually from beginning to end without any camera break. It talks about, or it details the story of a 13-year-old boy accused of murdering a classmate.
Oh wow.
And
Documentary or fiction?
No. It is. There is a 13-year-old. The 13-year-old actor. You have to watch this because this guy's going to have a 70-year career. I mean, the acting is unbelievable. This episode 3 plays out in such a manner that this kid pivots through a series of emotions, one after another, unlike anything you've ever seen. Stephen Graham, who plays his father, the last 5 minutes of the final episode, it's just heartbreaking.
That's what I want to watch.
Yeah, right. I was going to say.
I know.
Thanks for
uplifting.
that.
Well, it is really, thankfully, you've got 2 very, very, very successful kids, and you've launched them beautifully. But for parents who have younger kids, I could only imagine that this would be a really, really tough watch because in this day and age, I mean, how do you successfully launch a child in this day and age? And
Or 3.
Yeah, or 3 exactly. Yeah. So anyway, I highly recommend it. It's amongst the best television I've seen in a long while.
Is that based on a true story?
Actually, there is. I depending on what article you read, some people are saying that it's tangentially based on something, but no, the characters are actually fictional.
Wow.
So just great. Anyway, that's my recommendation. What about you? Got anything else?
I finished Full Swing, season 4. I don't know if you watch.
A little bit of it.
Yeah, it follows the PGA Tour players.
Oh, wow.
You would find it interesting just from the aspect of like athletes are also normal people, which I think a lot of us don't have that perception of them because we see them doing these incredible things in whatever sport they may do. I mean, these golfers are hitting the ball, 380 yards, and they're just unreal. But it's behind the scenes, the relationships, the things they're going through at home. You get all of those kind of storylines that you normally wouldn't, and it follows the course of a season through a bunch of the different players. I love the game, so it's kind of interesting
That's
to
so
see.
great.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to recommend? Anything great you've seen, or any restaurants, or music, books, podcasts?
I'm so boring. Is there anything other than baseball? I watch whatever my daughter whatever's hot at the time.
Okay.
And no heartbreak. Can't do the heartbreak. That's hard. That's hard for me to watch.
Then steer clear of adolescence. Don't go anywhere near it. It's just I mean it's a sledgehammer to your gut. It's just awful. So yeah.
But in the best way,
In a good
apparently.
Yeah. So you want to read us out, bud?
Yeah. Naomi, thank you again so
Thanks
much.
so much. I appreciate it.
Looking forward to the season. Looking forward to getting out to the ballpark. Make sure, we'll be there on the 10th. Very
June.
excited for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And really excited for it. and excited for the weather to stay like this.
I agree.
Fingers
Let's
crossed.
do that.
Naomi,
yeah.
thanks so much for joining us. This was
Loved
awesome.
it.
Just great.
Loved it. Love you
thank you.
guys.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you again next week.